Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Canal Algérie's nightly news. On to the headlines. The Prime Minister represents the President of the Republic in the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development, highlighting Algeria's commitment to collective efforts supporting global progress. Acting on presidential directives, a new executive decree defining the rules and procedures for engaging in price imports is issued, and the professionals of the sector hailed the decision. The horrors continue in Gaza with new Zionist airstrikes while famine is looming over the territory. Former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton denounces Morocco's stance on Western Sahara and urges the international community to uphold Sahrawi's right to self-determination. Welcome back. We kick off with tonight's main story, where representing the head of state Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Prime Minister Nadir Al-Arbawi traveled to Seville, Spain to participate in the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development scheduled for June 30th to July 3rd. Participants in this conference will examine various issues related to financing for development, including the status of implementation of the 23 Agenda for Sustainable Development for the horizon of 2030 in order to draft suggestions and collective solutions in order to support the development efforts and to combat the financing deficit. In other news, the executive decree establishing the conditions for self-employed individuals to carry out micro-import activities has been published in the official journal, or Gazette. This is Executive Decree number 25/170, establishing the conditions and procedures for self-employed individuals to carry out micro-import activities. Under the terms of the decree, micro-import activities are defined as operations carried out individually by natural persons while traveling abroad with a view to importing for sale, as is, limited quantities of goods and merchandise with a value not exceeding 1,800,000 dinars. Indeed, a comprehensive and final settlement of the situation of young people working in this field would facilitate the practice of micro-import activity through a set of conditions and privileges that would encourage self-employed entrepreneurs in this activity and protect the national economy. Reactions compiled by Rania Al-Bahri.
Algeria has introduced a new decree legalizing small-scale imports by self-employed individuals. The move aims to formalize informal trade, support youth entrepreneurship and boost economic inclusion through legal recognition and financial incentives. Thank God, we are very happy with the President's decision that now allows us to bring goods legally. We will bring products with our heads held high. We thank the President of the Republic. We will contribute to support the national economy. Thank God, there are many diverse local products, but we will import goods based on customer demand. The President gave these individuals the title of economic agent. This is a major recognition for those contributing to Algeria's economic process. This new decree represents a major move to support self-employed individuals by legalizing small-scale imports and integrating them into the formal economy. It simplifies procedures, removes the need for commercial registration, reduces customs duties to 5% and offers tailored tax incentives, all while reinforcing the state's commitment to youth entrepreneurship and economic inclusion.
Cooperation now in the framework of the promotion of bilateral relations between Algeria and Mauritania. The head of Sonatrach, Rachid Hashishi, is on a working visit to the capital, Nouakchott, accompanied by a high-level delegation from Sonatrach's executives in the framework of implementing the access of the Memorandum of Understanding signed with the Mauritanian oil company in January 2020. In this context, Hashishi held a working meeting with his Mauritanian counterpart Ismail Abdel Fattah, CEO of the Mauritanian oil company, to discuss ways to develop bilateral cooperation, explore investment opportunities, countries and exchange expertise in several fields such as exploration, production, and petroleum services. An agreement was signed concerning petroleum fields, which will regulate the exchange of technical data and information related to the exploration phase. And to mark World Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Day, the National Agency for Entrepreneurship Support and Development launched a new digital platform to boost investment, simplify project follow-up, and offer benefits to project owners and entrepreneurs. Details in this report by Riyad Belkhadim, commentary by Najahtiya.
As part of its efforts to encourage and strengthen entrepreneurship and facilitate project applications, the NASDA National Agency for Support and Development of Entrepreneurship launched its new digital platform, which will offer new perspectives. This new tool will open up new prospects for project owners, enabling them to register on the platform, monitor their projects remotely, and obtain all the information they need to make their business a success. I believe there are two major challenges. The first is the rapid pace at which microbusinesses are being created in Algeria today. This is the initial challenge facing our agency. The second challenge lies in managing these microbusinesses. We've observed that this issue is repeatedly raised, and we are actively working with all the relevant stakeholders to develop appropriate and effective solutions. This meeting provided a real-time information for entrepreneurs and those who want to launch their first startup. The new platform will offer young entrepreneurs a quality service and reduce bureaucratic delays. This project is part of the national strategy to digitize public administration and promote the national economy, encouraging investment and entrepreneurship, as well as creating new businesses and opportunities for the young people. For the past year, our agency has been working to reform its system. We can say that we are on the right track, but there is still much to be done, particularly regarding the challenge of managing income-generating microenterprises. In the lead-up to the presentation, the NASDA agency paid tribute to several accomplished entrepreneurs and startup founders. The event also shed light on inspiring success stories that often go unnoticed. We are very pleased with all the measures introduced by the President of the Republic in support of the various startup-related organizations. It's a real boost for our company, an encouraging step that uplifts our morale and may even inspire others, including students, to launch their own businesses.
Peut-être, pourquoi pas, étudiants à créer leur entreprise.
Prior to the creation of any business, indeed, before even the conception of an idea, it all begins with a vision that, through steadfast determination and perseverance, can ultimately be brought to fruition.
The Minister of National Education, Mohamed Saghir Saadawi, paid a courtesy visit to students applying for the third-year program of the Algerian Olympiad. These students on a close training at the Mathematics High School are supervised by experienced teachers and supervisors, including former champions who have already won titles in this competition. The supervision program aims to select the best students likely to represent Algeria in international competitions. In this context, the Minister inquired about the preparations and training these students receive. And the developments of the war of extermination on Gaza. 2 Palestinians were killed and others injured this morning as a result of the Zionist occupation's bombing of a house in the Zaytoun neighborhood in the southern Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, the media office in Gaza announced that the death toll of Palestinian children from malnutrition has risen to 66 amid the Zionist occupation's closure of crossings and tightening of the siege. Details with Daniel Bahrain, Nusam Abu Said.
The sound of the Zionist bombs were everywhere. The bombs were huge and very powerful. In Gaza, no sound was louder than the sirens of ambulances and the cries of families. Many children were brought to hospitals one after another. Their faces were covered in blood and dust. Their childhood was taken from them. God willing, the occupation will end and the enemy will be gone. Praise be to God who gave us martyrs. We accept this from Him. In the ruins of destroyed homes, the civil defense teams are still working to find the dead and help the injured. Families are also helping even though there is little equipment and it's very hard. One man is looking for his children who are still under the rubble. When I was outside, they told me my house was bombed. I came back and saw it destroyed. All the children were under the rubble. I don't know where they are. The Zionist attacks have increased in the past hours. They bombed many homes in different places, especially in Tufah neighborhood, Jabalia camp in the north, and Khan Yunis in the south. These strikes caused a lot of destruction. People across Gaza are searching for safety and for their loved ones.
In other developments, the European Union expressed its readiness to support the peace agreement concluded Friday in Washington between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, calling it an important step towards ending decades of conflict. For the High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, the success of this agreement depends on the participation of regional partners, stating that the EU is ready to provide political and economic support to this agreement. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda had signed a peace agreement on Friday aimed at ending the conflict in eastern DRC, which has left thousands dead. In the Sahrawi file, John Bolton urged the U.S. support for Sahrawi self-determination referendum, rejecting claims against the Polisario Front. His call echoed in protests held in Brussels and the occupied Dakhla, where demonstrators demanded political rights, the release of prisoners, and an end to Morocco's occupation. The
United States should return to its original approach of supporting the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination, was a statement declared by John Bolton, former National Security Advisor to the President Donald Trump and former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, where he urged the U.S. to renew support for a self-determination referendum in Western Sahara, rejecting Morocco's claims against the Polisario Front. He also dismissed accusations from Morocco's allies that labeled the group as a terrorist organization, adding that Morocco had no right to grant resource rights in Western Sahara before a referendum, calling the actions illegitimate and harmful to the Sahrawi development. This renewed call for justice on the international stage resonates far beyond diplomatic circles. In front of the Moroccan embassy in the very heart of Brussels, voices are rising to call for respect for international law during a peaceful protest organized by the Sahrawi community to demand the release of political prisoners and an end to the arbitrary arrests carried out by the Moroccan occupier against the Sahrawi people. This demonstration is historic. It aims to denounce the serious abuses suffered by our fellow citizens, especially the political prisoners. From this platform, we call for their immediate release, while reminding the international community of the suffering endured by the Sahrawi people on their usurped land. It is one of the poorest peoples, while its land is rich in natural resources. The Moroccan occupier not only deprives the Sahrawi people of their legitimate rights and represses them, but also spreads the poison of drugs among their youth and illegally exploits the natural resources of this wealthy territory. We call on the international organizations and the entire world to put pressure on the occupier to stop the plundering of the Sahrawi natural resources and to release all the Sahrawi detainees. The Sahrawi people are forbidden from expressing their opinions and political views and are also wrongfully deprived of their natural resources. This mobilization echoes a protest in the occupied Dakhla, where demonstrators demanded self-determination, an end to the Moroccan occupation, and the release of political prisoners, reaffirming their peaceful struggle despite the ongoing repression.
And with that, we end tonight's bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.